Hi guys. Energy is dead. Hi guys. That's how sexy girls talk. Right? Hi guys, my name's Hayley Melinda Records. So I'm an international speaker, consultant. I am happily married to my amazing husband, Sterling Records. I sit on the board of Wagamama. I do different trainings for different corporations. I also do quite a lot of public speaking training for people in the Middle East. I'm a life speaker. I speak life into people, offline, online. I really do believe that, that Genesis 1 mandate, when, the Holy Spirit was brewing over the face of the earth, it was only until word, that's when manifestation came. And I really believe that, you could have the Holy Spirit, but until someone speaks that word into you, that is actually when you start to manifest it. So I take speaking very literal. I always say speaking is spiritual. I take speaking very literal because speaking literally is life. I'm a woman of excellence. You won't, when you see me speak, you're not going to say, oh, because she's a Christian. No, it's because I'm a good speaker, period. You're not going to come and doubt me because of my faith. You're not going to come and question my excellence. You're not going to say, oh, no, I am a Jesus girl and I'm good at what I do. And I'm very big on having pride in the fact that you have your faith, but also have pride in the fact that you're skillful. The Bible says those who are diligent in their work shall stand before kings and not mere men. Not lazy, not those who are half-hearted, not those who are, part-hearted. It's you being diligent that allows you to stand before kings. So that's something I'm very passionate about.
I love that. So when you were building the things that you were doing, what character or what traits did you have that made you already successful? And then what did it take to get those traits?
Oh, that's so good. The first thing is I decided to be a product of vision. And what do I mean by that? You're not a product of your environment, you're a product of your vision. You will never go beyond what you can see. And if you are currently in a state of, so similar to what Deborah shared, similar to what Nashada shared, me too, daddy issue girl, number one, daddy issue. Me, no daddy. And I just came and said, okay, let me just be problematic. There's no dad here anyway. Let me just be problematic, be rude to my mom and do all types of nonsense. Hey, my mom slapped me 2 times. I was one of those kids that, as soon as my mom raised her hand, I'll be like, so just have kids! I was watching Tracy Beaker a bit too much, right? But on a serious note, I was a real product of vision. I got to a point when I was 15 years old, and there was a lot of trauma that happened around me. I ended up getting affiliated with the wrong type of people. I very much don't shy away from the fact that I'm from ends, and there's some people who are kind of like, oh yeah, I grew up no, I was really, really about it. And what I mean by that is that when I was 15 years old, I was somewhat talking to boys I shouldn't have been speaking to, and I nearly got stabbed. And it's only by the grace of God that the knife did not go into my abdomen. He, out of fear, went back rather than going forward. And it was also by the grace of God that somebody actually saw me at the time that the guy brought out the knife to stab me. And literally, I remember running away when the police came, because at this point they were like, okay, we need to take you to the station because you need to report it. And I thought, me, go to snitches, get stitches, are you crazy? Where we're from, we don't snitch. I ran away from the police. And I remember literally going around the corner, calling my best friend on, them times, I had 5-day pass, them ones, T-Mobile. I had the 5-day pass and I called my best friend and I said, yo, I need you to come and meet me. Like, I nearly just been stabbed, and I told the situation. She came and met me. And I remember literally just crying and just being like, yo, this can't be my story. This can't be my story. So from then, that's when I started looking to other people who were doing it, killing it. Started listening to people like Eric Thomas, started listening to people who were killing it in the US, people who were just doing great. I found the best I can say it is I found a lot of vision listening to these people. Because at this point, I was like, Hayley, you can be more and you can do more. And I think that's the first thing that really helps me was vision. I'll say number 2 was association. Association. I know this might sound rude, but I promise you this, I say this with all humility. You would never find Primark next to Louis Vuitton. You would never find Primark next to Louis Vuitton. Oxford Street. You know that H&M and Primark on the main street. You know Louis Vuitton and Burberry on the back street and Bond Street. Because of association. And I learned that, hells, you want to be a hood girl? keep hang around them hoodlums. Keep hang around them hoodlums and see where it's gonna take you. You stay in the hood. You will stay there. If you keep associating with these hood people, you will stay there. So I realized, and I know this sounds, God, I'm a true speaker, by the way, I don't lie. God, do I say this? Okay, let me say this with more kindness, because I don't know. Some of you might not know me. You might come and leave here and say, this girl, who the hell did Serena get? So let me just do this out of love for Serena. The reality is that, how do I say this? If I want to change the hood, I can't be in the hood. Because I've got to remove the habits that the hood contains me in. Does that make any sense? The harsher way of me saying it is that I personally don't believe that you can be broke and help someone out of poverty. Because if I'm going to lead you somewhere, I need to at least have been there and shown you that I went there. I don't believe in leading from the back, I promise you. I don't believe in leading from the back. I will lead you from the front. I'll be like, oh, by the way, I went through this path. I turned right here. I turned left here. I'm not going to be the person that is going to come and say, oh, yeah, just go there. And I think you should turn left and turn right. No, I can say, no, I turned left and that was that was dead end. You know, and I'm very big on that, the fact that you have to be able to lead from the front. And that comes from association. So I always say, make sure you have 3 different people in your circle. Make sure you have your mentees. Make sure you have the people you pour into. A mentee of mine, but also now has become a sister of mine, is Nashada. Met Nashada when when she was 18 years old. And I've literally seen her come from an 18-year-old woman to now being a mother, a wife, a businesswoman, being able to kill it. And it's that pride of being able to see, hey, there was an 18-year-old girl. I'd always seen it. But it was God that allowed her to see that through as well. Have the people you pour into. Speak life into them, even when they couldn't see it. I was speaking life into Nashada when she was 18 years old and still being a bit crazy. She still is a bit crazy, you know? And I still call her to a higher place. That's my little sister, you know? But I don't see you according to circumstance. I see you according to destiny. And you have to have the mentees that you will call them up higher. And my heart is for the girls from ends. Anybody that knows me knows I've got the rough girls. Do you know the amount of times that people come and report my girls to me? They'll be like, yeah, I can't lie, that she's a bit rude. Brother Nashada's been reported to me. She probably doesn't know. People will be like, yeah, Nashada's a bit... Sorry. No, so Nashada's a bit rude. I'll be like, yeah, and? Me too. Yeah, she was a bit rude. No, Nashada's got a bit something. Even me, I'm rude. Sorry, don't annoy me. I say it with love. I'm a loving person, but I can be rude. God is working on me, guys. I'm a real person. But on a serious note, I'm not talking about it just with Nashada. I'm talking about the particular group of girls that I know God's called me to journey with. And it is the girls that have that did have the daddy issues. It is the girls that we had to figure out things for ourselves. We had to be strong, but we've got big hearts, and we've had to be strong to protect ourselves from trust issues. Listen, I've got a very big heart, and that's why I'm very antisocial. Let me be real. It's a trauma guard. Because I've had trust issues. I've had people break me in the past and say particular things. So it's very hard. Anyone that comes to like London, I love you. I promise you I'm not antisocial. I've got a huge resting face, number one. So a lot of people think I'm very antisocial and I don't want to talk. I promise you I'm just like this all the time. It's not even that I'm, and if I'm in the prophetic gift, I'm like, so if you see me like that, you're going to think, oh my gosh, go stay away from her. But I promise you I'm the kindest person and nice. But I'm also very conscious of the fact that I have been burnt in the past. So because of the fact that I'm aware that being with the wrong association has put me in the wrong situations, I'm very, very particular with my environment, and I'm very particular with who I endorse and who endorses me. So this is now on the next stage what I was talking about, which is you have your mentees and then you have your safe space. Your safe space are your friends, the people you can be real with, the people who you can have the bad day with. That is the most important thing. And then you have your mentors. These are the people who are pouring up from you. These are people who are above you. These are people who are 10 steps ahead of you. These are people that you can go to and ask for wisdom, And let me just tell you this. Your mentees are not your safe space, and your mentors can be, but they're not at the same time. Your peers are, So make sure you have all those three as well. And I'll say the last thing that really helped me in terms of being able to, build the way I did, and it's the most important thing, is faith. It's faith. I promise you. Like when I gave my life to Christ, and when I gave my life to Christ, and I really got right with God, things accelerated. Oh my gosh, guys! I used to be in juju. Sorry, New Age is juju. People be out thinking that juju is being in Africa. Then you'll tell them to no. Astral projection and crystals is juju. But it's because we're trying to whitewash it, make it fairy, crystals. No, call it what it is. It's George, black magic, witchcraft. That's witchcraft, and that's exactly what I was into. I was doing crystals, astral projection. I was leaving my body, sailing around my thing until God came and caught me like a rat on the highway. And God said, never do that again. And since giving my life to Jesus Christ, it's been 9 years, and I'm never looking back. I literally come and say, I'm a Jesus girl through and through. No one can ever in their life take my faith, make me silence my faith. I've lost clients because of my faith. Yeah, people out here being like, oh yeah, Hells, I love that you're so bold. Bro, I've lost money. I've had clients come and be like, yeah, you're too Jesus-y for us. When I'm thinking about faith, when you're really coming against a Nebuchadnezzar, when you're really coming against a Pharaoh, you need God. Because you will end up bowing to the policies of Pharaoh and not the policies of God. So there's been particular rooms that I've had to even say, I can't do that client, I'm so sorry. I know the invoice is sweet. I promise you some invoices have been sweet. But when they come and say, yeah, you can't talk about it, I'm like, yeah, I'm not the speaker for you. And that's okay. So yeah.
That was so good.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, so now that you're married, right? So you have this grace, this anointing to lead, to do such amazing things. And one of the things that's a recurring theme is the submission aspect. How do you go from being successful and now building with somebody else and still having to be a wife and still having to submit, but knowing I have all of this call and all of this greatness on the inside of me and still doing that? And also, how did your call impact who you married?
One of the things that I loved at what Nashada said is it is important that you do have something in going into marriage, because marriage is meant to multiply. My husband didn't come to add to Hayley, he came to multiply Hayley. And I came to multiply Sterling. I think when you start looking at it in addition, you start thinking that, oh, he's adding to my life, or I'm adding to his life. I'm multiplying my husband's life. That as a woman, when you think about your anatomy as a woman, you receive seed and give back a child. When you think about an anatomy of a woman, you receive a house and you make it a home. So one of the first things I understood about submission is his mission, can I multiply it to a child?
That's good.
The seed that my husband gives me, can I make sure that I nurture it enough that it's able to sustain our house, it's able to grow? And so that's the first question I had to have is Hayley, do you actually have the resources in place to ensure that, you're able to push your husband to where he's meant to go? Like what, Nashada was talking about in terms of development. You have to ask yourself, am I good enough? So that was number one in terms of submission. Number two, trauma. Deal with that trauma. Process your trauma. Go to therapy. Go to therapy. I'm really big on prophesying and going to the prophets, but also get a therapist with a T, not with a P. Because there's a lot of people who are masking their lack of healing with ministry. Do you know how many leaders are bleeding and leading? There's some leaders that honestly, you should not be on the mic. And I know you're anointed, but your anointing is killing people because you don't want to heal. So I'm very big on the idea. I've said it from nobody can ever take this message or this revelation from me. I do not believe in leadership. I will never stand by it. Because the amount of people who are being crushed by broken leaders, do you know how many people are leaving the church right now? Because of people who don't want to heal. Get a therapist. Your congregation is not your therapist. You cannot find therapy in you basically pouring out. You need someone to pour into you. You need somebody who's going to show you a mirror and be like, actually, if you don't heal from this, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to take place. So one of the best things I've done when I just literally, my husband proposed to me on my 24th birthday. The next day for my 24th, as a birthday present, I went into therapy. That was my birthday present to myself at 24. And it was the best present I ever gave myself. The best present I ever gave myself was therapy. And I allowed myself to heal. I allowed myself to be vulnerable. I allowed myself to cry. I allowed myself to go through things because I basically said that I've seen too much trauma and cycles in my family that I don't want to carry it on because I chose not to heal. You know? And I'll say the third thing, submission therapy, I'll say the third thing is communication. Communicate. My husband knew that I am strong-headed, still am, God help me. But I would tell him the reason why. I've had trauma. I've been abused as a child. There's so many things that I had faced that made me be hard-headed, made me guarded, made me feel like I can't trust anyone. So when I opened up to my husband about it and gave him perspective, I was so grateful to have somebody who actually extended grace to me. And the only way that my husband would actually understand parts of Hayley is if I had to let him know who Hayley is. You have to trust him. And also, let me tell you something, ladies. No man knows how to love you. You have to teach him. A man will not wake up knowing how to love you because every single woman is different. One thing about my husband, he knows Hayley don't like flowers. I promise you guys, if you ever get me flowers, the flower will die. I'm telling you. Somebody got me flowers yesterday for my event. I saw it. Oh yeah, Hayley, I just said, oh God. Because the flower's going to die. I'm sorry. My best friend got me a plant when we moved. I said, why did you get me this plant? You know me. You know the thing's going to die. But my husband knows I'm a foodie. So when we were courting, he weren't sending me flowers. He was sending me breakfast. And that's why in courtship and marriage, I put on weight. I know. He sends me food. My husband knows food is the way to my heart. But I had to teach him that. And when we first got together, my husband used to get really irritated that I don't like flowers. He'd be like, oh, whenever I get you flowers, you just leave it on the table. And we had a whole disagreement about it. Then he'd be like, my ex likes flowers. I said, hold on a second. I said, Mr. Record, I am not her. And I said, listen, you need to understand that I'm not the same woman as the woman that you've dealt with in the past. And when I actually had that communication, that conversation with him, he was open to understanding. And same for him. I had to learn how to love him and how he needs to be loved. And now we've been together I was even quite surprised, been with him for 5 years, known him for 9 years. Now nearly being married 3 years. I'm still learning my husband and he's still learning me. And it's that communication every single day, you know? So yeah.
I love that. So what do you feel like it takes to build in marriage? So now that, okay, I've got what I've got going on.
Yeah.
He's got what he's going on. I understand that I'll have the multiplier effect. Like in terms of practical steps, what did you have to do to be like, okay, we've got this vision. So now you've also shared that sometimes it was very difficult. How did you overcome those difficulties when it came to building together?
I would say number one is community. Have married people around you. You know, shout out Nissy T who just walked in, coming in, painting. I've got to shout her out because I'll be very real. Nissy is my first ever friend that showed me that I could have business in marriage. Because prior to Nissy, I had a lot of friends that we were in situationships. And Nissy was always the person I was bringing boys to her. Nissy, I think I like this boy, you know, yeah, he's interested in me and stuff like that. And she'd be like, okay. And Sterling was the first guy I think that Nissy actually approved. Everything prior to that, Nissy would be like, okay, Hayley, why? You know? But I didn't realize that, you know, prior to me being friends with someone like Nissy, because all of us, in terms of my friends, now we've all changed, but all of us were just always getting into situationships because we didn't know any better, we didn't see any better. So Nissy was generally my first friend that I saw go into a healthy marriage, abstain, you know, do it God's way with a man of God. I was just like, it's real. This stuff is real. Do you know what I mean? So I would say community, because even now in marriage, me and Nissy still have our check-ins in our marriage. We still could be like, okay, girl, let me see. I'll even tell Nissy at one point, Nissy, hold me accountable to sex. How real can I be here? There was a time when I told Nissy, I was like, Nissy, my man's got to do his thing, and sometimes I'm tired. But yeah, like on a serious note, like have the friendships that will hold you accountable in the area of sex, in the area of communication, community. And I'll say number two, outside of community, is therapy. Bro, me and my husband are very much we have marriage counselors, and I'll sing my praises on my marriage counselors. The Ramseys are amazing. Held us through courtship, held us in marriage. Bro, there's been times where I've literally said to my husband, I'm not talking to you. I'm only talking to you if we're doing a call. Like I've literally been like, I'm not talking. I'm like, I'm not talking to you. I'm only talking to you if the Ramseys are doing a Zoom call. So if you want to talk to me, do that Zoom call now. Like, I promise you, in marriage, I've seen myself manifest. Obviously, me and my husband are not the same. This is in our first year of marriage, and there'll be moments that literally we'd have a Zoom call, and it's heated between my husband. I'll be like, no, but you didn't do this and didn't do that, and you have that safe space for people to just watch you navigate marriage, and they're not going to judge you for it. They're not going to hold you against it. They're just going to give you wisdom. They will silence you when you need to be silenced. They will say, guys, tone it down. Remember, you're one team. Like having those therapists and those counselors who are really in your corner. And I'm going to say this again, who are really in your corner, because I promise you, not everyone's in your corner when it comes to your marriage. I promise you, I've seen it for myself. Not everybody is for your marriage. So make sure you're around people who are really for your marriage. I'm talking about they really want to see you last. Because we're in a society where people are saying that half 50% of people end up in divorce. That's what some people are trying to push. So you've got to be people who are really for your marriage. And I'll say lastly, in terms of really like building a marriage and the things that really help is dating, guys. Like I really like to date my husband. Like it is really not that deep sometimes. Sometimes I feel like people try and make relationships so serious. I promise you, half the things that you're going through are really not that deep. Do you know the amount of times that literally I've not shouted at my husband, but I've had disagreement and I'll just start laughing after? Because I'll be like, hey, you're a mad woman. Have you seen yourself? You look dumb. Like sometimes I literally I'll be like, yeah, and I swear I'm not going to do that again or whatever. And I'll storm upstairs. No, I don't even have stairs in my apartment. But anyways, I'll go somewhere else and I'll go in the mirror and be like, yeah, you're a crackhead, bro. Why did you do that? Go and apologize to your man. And I go crawling. Babe, I'm sorry. And I promise you, I'm giving you guys the reality of marriage. And having that, dating, having fun, going out. That's one thing I love traveling with my husband. We love traveling. We love going to see different people, different places. My husband, I don't want to say he's a dirty man. My husband, he's Jamaican. I'll tell you that. True Jamaican man. There's certain things that my husband's done. I'm like, that is saucy, babe. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, let me not give you access to everything. But genuinely, like, even dating, it makes things fun. Like, sex can be fun. Dating can be fun. All this stuff can be fun. And the reason why I even had to even give that sex element is because I think with women, sometimes especially in the singlehood, some people have so demonized sex that when you get to marriage, you're a bit... So there is a conditioning that sometimes you do have to do, because I also got married a virgin. My husband took my virginity. So you've got to understand the level of conditioning that I had to do from somebody who was holy as holy, ain't opening up my legs for no man, to now, this Jamaican man wants it all the time. Like, it's a lot of conditioning I had to do. But it's really, really important that you have that dating, that fun, bringing the fun element into your marriage. And it doesn't, as I said, it does not have to be so deep and so, it doesn't have to be so deep. And I'll end it here, and I promise I will. The reason why I share this is because I think we've got a lot of resources out there about how to pray for your husband, how 500 things a Proverbs 31 woman has to do in her house. The list is endless, child. I want to be able to really just give some really practical steps in marriage that have really helped me over the 2 years. Has prayer helped? 110%. Has worship helped? 110%. Has there been moments like with me and my husband have prayed and fasted together and we have seen breakthrough like never before? 110%. but so has dating. So it's been going for walks. So it's been also sometimes just buying my husband a present. And I'll never forget this. And this is, I've got to bring up Nissy because Nissy and Ben are really people that we hold accountable in terms of our marriage and vice versa. I remember it was last year, it was our second anniversary, and I forgot to get my husband a present for our anniversary. I'm just going to be real. I forgot to get my husband a present for my anniversary. Now, my husband snitched on me to Ben. If anybody knows Nissy's husband is 6'6". So I said, please, I don't want this 6'6" Congolese man to come and beat me up. So as soon as Stanley said, yeah, I even told Ben. Ben! So I quickly called Nissy, and I was like, Nissy, yeah, I'm sorry, like, whatever. So anyways, ended up obviously doing what I did, made sure that my husband made it up to him, got him a present. I apologized. That time of my life was really busy, just on next level speakers. I had back-to-back events, Equip Summit. It just slid to my mind to just intentionally get something for my husband. I'm just going to be real. And in that moment, I had realized that, it really wasn't even going to be sex. It really wasn't even going to be prayer. It was really going to be, one, apologizing, really having a communication and saying to my husband, babe, I'm really sorry. I should have actually communicated how overwhelmed I was and stuff like that. But also number 3, being able to be held accountable and also creating a safe space that my husband could even tell me he was upset with me. You don't ever want to be in a place that your husband cannot open up to you about his life and his emotions. The same way how you want to be an emotionally mature man, are you emotionally mature to be that safe space for your husband? Because the world is trying to kill your men. Yeah. You already see it. The world is trying to emasculate our men. Yeah. So you need to create that safe space for your man so your man can be the man. Yes. So in that moment, I let my husband be upset. I let my husband feel some type of way, and I affirmed him in it. I didn't come and say, oh, baby, it's not that deep. It's only 2 years. No, I came and said, babe, you're right. If it's important to you, it should be important to me. It's our marriage. You're right. And I apologize. I promise you, I came back with balloons. I came back with a big card. He was on the phone to Ben. He literally said, Ben, my wife just got me. He was like, yeah, Ben, yeah. He was like, yeah, brother, yeah. Anyway, Ben and Mr. Sterling, they do their own thing. Then I was just like, babe, I'm sorry. I even sang a little song. I'm so sorry. Just do things. And that's what I mean in terms of this is what practically marriage looks like. I promise you, it's not to say the prayer and fasting doesn't work, but if you don't know how to communicate, if you don't know how to say sorry, if you don't know how to build friendship up with your husband, if you don't know how to create that safe space, if you don't know how to date, if you don't know how to have sex and make things fun and do all of these things, I promise you, your marriage will end up becoming dry. And I've seen marriages become dry, guys. It's not nice. It's not nice on the other end to see people. Basically, you see their marriage fade away. I lived in a house where I saw their marriage fade away. So yeah.
No, I love that. Can we just give Haley a round of applause?